You've done extremely well in real estate. You've overcome these challenges, and here you are today. The only thing I have to disagree with you on is I was reading something we're going to talk about here. A young man's insatiable appetite for what we're going to talk about, now an old man reflects on. Michael, you're not an old man. I love multifamily. I love real estate investment. Team is very important.
Things will sometimes go wrong on real estate deals. It's just the nature of the industry.
We've considered investments together. We work with many of the same people.
And I'm forming, partnerships with people on all different levels, and it's a win-win-win for everybody that way. Step by step, I planned out what I was going to do. I planned on going sailing, so I knew what I needed to accomplish, and I started that plan. Actually, in fact, I wrote a book, and it's called Dreams, Goals, and Adventure. Aloha, and welcome to Deal or No Deal, Multifamily Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Michael Ditton. Our mission and vision for this podcast is to share the knowledge and stories of others to inspire and motivate those not only in their pursuit for success in real estate investing, but in their overall journey in a life adventure, and to help create abundance on every level of their life. This podcast is sponsored by Helios Capital Investments, shedding light on multifamily real estate investing. Aloha, everybody, and welcome to Deal or No Deal, Multifamily Real Estate Investing Podcast. And today we have a guest by the name of Michael Hancock. And I tell you what, I've known Michael now, it's almost been a year, about 10 months. And we have actually had the pleasure of doing a multi-million-dollar real estate deal together. So that's kind of how we came about. And I can tell you from doing that deal together, Michael is a man of character, a man of integrity, a man of his word. He was great to work with. And since then, not only, did we have that opportunity to become, business associates through that, he, as far as I'm concerned, hopefully he thinks the same thing, but we've become friends since then. So Michael has been involved in real estate for over a couple of decades. He's been, he's done a lot of, it's kind of a wide gamut here, from development to renovating to, from single family homes to multifamily. He's kind of had his fingers in different pieces of the pie. And I'll tell you what, as much as the real estate history intrigues me, Michael, a lot of us are faced with challenges. That's what we call life. And you've had a couple of challenges that far exceed most people's everyday challenges. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you've done extremely well in real estate. You've overcome these challenges, and here you are today. The only thing I have to disagree with you on is I was reading something we're going to talk about here. A young man's insatiable appetite for what we're going to talk about, now an old man reflects on. Michael, you're not an old man.
I love it. Keep talking.
Yeah. You're not an old man. We may be maturing, but you are far from an old man. So I really think you need to say now as an older man, or now something else.
I'll talk to my wife when she next refers to me to somebody else as my old man. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's different. That's kind of slang talk, but yeah. Anyhow, Michael, it's an honor and pleasure to have you on board. And basically, I'd like to have you start off by sharing a little bit about yourself, where you originally came from, how you ended up on the West Coast, and now you're on the East Coast.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. That was a wonderful accolade. I almost didn't recognize myself. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Who is this?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Anyway, so as you can tell by the funny accent, I'm not a native Yankee. I come from London, and 20 years ago I came over to San Diego, California, to invest some money in a company, and a substantial amount of money back in the day, with my wife and our firstborn back then, just a little infant in a bucket, basically, and we set up home in San Diego. Unfortunately, the company didn't really work out in the direction we wanted to go. And so I ended up staying longer to kind of get as much money back as I could. And along the way, let me tell you, there's been a lot of things that did not work out. Can I call them failures? There's been numerous failures. I mean, if I could show you some of the stripes on my back, I'm not going to take my shirt off, but metaphorically speaking, sometimes they still hurt a bit. So coming from London, and I had I built companies there in advertising, marketing, and had quite a degree of success, I'd say. That we had a wonderful home over there, and coming over here, that didn't really work out. I got a little bit of our money back, and I got on a plane, and I was thinking, well, our visa's going to run out, this, that, and the other. What are we going to do? I didn't really want to go back to London because going back just felt like literally going backwards. So I got on a plane and I went to Sydney and Melbourne in Australia. And I thought, what the hell am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with our lives? And it was down, and I bought I bought this book, Real Estate Riches by Dolph DeRose, in Sydney in 20 years ago. I've still got my name and date in there. So, and I read this on a flight on the way back. I read it, started it from going from from Sydney to Melbourne, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. It was that simple. It was really that simple. Maybe I'd run out of options as well. Was I getting desperate? But it wasn't just that. It kind of piqued my interest. And there's something that's inherently really important about doing this in America, in the US, is that, some of my old friends in London, they would say, you're talking nonsense. But there's a way of, if you try and climb out, they're there to pull you down. But in the US or in America, North America, if you're trying to climb out, if you're trying to get something, they kind of want to come with you. And I really like that psyche. That really is something that gels so well with me. Don't get me wrong, there's a few wonderful exceptions over the other side of the pond. Don't get me wrong. And so coming back to San Diego, I had this idea in mind. Now, okay, I've got to do multifamily. And I didn't quite know what that meant. And I thought, well, if I sell the home we had in London, which was our kind of last gamble, if you like, it was all or nothing. Let's bet the farm on this. And as much as I assured my wife, dare I say, of the time, this is the right way to go, and this, that, and the other. There was obviously some ups and downs, and life throws some curveballs at you, obviously, now and again. So I bought I won't quite say I bought it, but I sold the house in London, and then I had to raise $1 million from somewhere. So I was knocking on doors in banks and private lenders in San Diego, knocking on the door, knock. I need $1 million. What for? Yeah. Okay, I'm getting a lot of no's here, and I think, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But eventually, you find a couple of guys, and it might be a bit here and a bit there. And I bought a 9-unit apartment building in downtown San Diego. And another guy came to me once we closed that and said, why don't you do a condo conversion on this? What's a condo conversion? Okay, so, you've got to remember this is 18, 19 years ago now. Sorry, 20 years ago now. There goes another one. Yeah. So, yeah, started the process. It took a year to do the process, and something I bought for $1.1 million. I put about 300, maybe 400,000 into the reno of doing the whole thing, and sold the whole thing out for 3.5, and then did a 1031 into a much larger 22-unit apartment building to do a condo conversion there. And then, along came 2007, 2008. And I was so extended with banks to try and make this work. I was into it for about 4 million, 5 million. Knowing if it worked out, I'd be selling for 9 million. So the increment profit was going up and up. But, there was always a cost to pay. There was always a price to pay for this. And 2007, late 2007, early 2008, I was with Washington Mutual, and they're starting to pull the funding, pulling the loans. No, you can't have any more. But I've already bought committed to this and bought that. No, that's the end of it, at the end of the line. And obviously overnight, sometime in 2008, I can't quite remember, it just crashed. So I was left out high and dry, and basically had to leave lots of millions of dollars on the line there. And the next year or two was, it's very tough, very tough. It ended up being a divorce with my first wife, and wondering what we're going to do with visas, this, that, and the other. And, you know, it takes an awful toll. But you know what? If you don't try, you'll never find out. You'll never know. And looking back to the first marriage, it wasn't just that. We just ran out of road. But I don't want to get too personal here. This isn't really the right platform for that. But it's all accumulative to the story, if you like. So a partner of mine, which we started looking at other multifamily, we started trading our way out of this hole we were in, just bit by bit, with a little flip here, a little flip there. And so we were down millions, but I didn't go bust. So I must have made the millions not to go bust, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, but every now and again, I wake up in the middle of the night with a cold sweat, like it's 2008 again. It doesn't quite go away. In fact, there's almost a little bit of gratitude that I'm still here and kicking and bitching about it, I suppose. So in a long and short, that's what's happened of that first part of how I got into real estate. It was this darned book.
Nice.
Not to say there weren't other books as well.
Sure. Yeah, you like any other investor has devoted a little bit of time to learning and.
Well, you know what? Back in those early days, I was also going to a lot of seminars and speeches, and I sort of followed Dolph DeRuze around a little bit, and a whole slew of others. And I remember being in, I think it was in Addison near Dallas, and I said hello to somebody. I've seen you before. He says, yeah, I've seen you in San Diego. And I thought, hang on a minute. Am I turning into a seminar junkie like him? This is not the guy I want to be. So I stopped that and think, hang on a minute. I've just got to start doing more massive action and less being the guy that keeps turning up and saying, yeah, I want to be that guy. I am a real estate investor. Write it down and do squat all about it.
Yeah, well, and that's a very important thing you just said, because I'm gonna relate back to my sailing days. As you know, I jumped on my boat and disappeared and went sailing. And I tell you, the day that I actually cut the lines was the day that I took action. And I can tell you, for the day that I cut the lines, there was hundreds, if not thousands, that never did take that action. So, it may be for whatever reason they chose not to do it, but they didn't get to reap the same rewards that I did. Of course, they may be doing their own thing elsewhere. But the key thing is, you can't just prepare for it and talk about it and educate yourself. You actually have to do it.
It's highly emotive as well, because your brain is telling your body every function of, don't take this risk. You might fail. It might not work out. Yeah. And don't do this. Save yourself. My brain is going to save you from looking bad, or, oh yeah, maybe my brain's right today. I'll just run over, or I'll accept what's happening today. Yeah. Well,
it's good that we walk with that air of caution, but you have to take calculated risks, and you've done a fair share. You've won some, you've lost some, but as long as through the losing process, you've learned and you've adapted and grown, or what we call tacking in the sailing world. It's all movement or momentum for something better in the future, and that's incredible.
I mean, sometimes you have those bad days, or you make. I won't say a wrong decision, but you turned left instead of turning right. You're still making a decision.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, when am I going to stop learning and make some real money?
Yeah. Well,
but it doesn't happen.
Hopefully you can still do both at the same time. Exactly, learn and make money. So
exactly. So vital.
Yeah, because I will never stop learning. I learn every single day. I had a guest on not too long ago on one of my Facebook lives, and you talked about 1031s. For those that don't know what a 1031, it's a tax deferred exchange that allows us to take our tax gain and move it to another property without touching it. Well, last year, the government had talked about doing away with that. And when that talk came about, as an investor and as somebody that works with a lot of investors, because what I do, I wanted to make sure that we had some type of alternative. And through that learning process, I found about DSTs, or deferred sales trusts. Yeah. Now, I've been in this game for over 20 years, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. And it's not like it was a brand new thing. So that learning, that learning is important.
Name almost, isn't it?
Yeah. And that learning is a key thing. So but we'll always have those moments or memories. Hopefully, the 2008 memories don't keep you awake too many.
Oh no,
nights.
I mean,
but
I remember what I had for breakfast this morning, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, but it does influence our decisions on what we're going to do to protect ourselves in the future. So that's kind of cool. And
but the whole motivation thing is it's again, it's there to it's a tough one to get around. And there was another book which I found, which I thought was the holy grail of success philosophy, and I've got to put it off the shelf here. It was The Law of Success from Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
At if you anybody wants to read it, get the 1925 one. It's the unwatered down one. As time goes by, as the decades go by, it gets simpler and simpler. It's a bit of a tough, I won't lie, it took me a few months to read this back in the day, but it's got everything in there. This was the granddaddy of them all. They've all been written from that one somehow. And that one,
I'm familiar with it, but I don't know if I've seen the 1925 one. So I'm going to actually go look at it.
Yeah. It's just got more in there. Mind, it's a bit verbose here and there, so it's a bit tough. I think it was sponsored by Andrew Carnegie for Napoleon Hill, who spent half a lifetime, if not all his life, writing this thing.
Yeah.
And taking the what made the millionaires of the day millionaires, and I'm talking multimillionaires, gazillionaires by today's standards.
Yeah, I just saw something he did the other day about masterminds, and the description, the video that he did and description that he did of a mastermind was just incredible. I mean, spot on.
Yes. Yeah. And it's all about the confidence and the imagination that leads to success. And I thought it was a fantastic book, and it really, really helped me. And every now and again, I dip into it. And at the end of this, if anybody wants to request it from you, I'll send them my copy. I can't read it anymore. I'll pass it on to somebody else.
All right. Well, we may put that down in the bottom of the show notes.
I'd be happy to do that. It's one book, but it's.
Well, we like to share and pass things along.
Exactly.
Well, you talked about 20 years going through challenges, persistence, picking up kind of from where you were at the on that downturn, coming back up again. I know that you're doing well, and you're doing what you absolutely love, which is real estate. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it.
I love it. I mean, I just look at the graphs of like 150 years or 200 years or 900 years in the UK. It's the one to go for. It's just incrementally perfect.
Why do you love it?
It's just always excited me. I come from a design-led background, I suppose, as well, not just the real estate. I just don't see something as a building. I see it as an opportunity. I see it as a blank canvas to put my or our personality on it. And I like turning it, making it something that it just wasn't before, that really does serve a purpose. And I always believe, if you get creative, the finances follow. You can't just think like a banker all the time, because then you'll keep making your 1%, 2%, 3% while there's 7% inflation, which means you're going backwards. Right. But if you start projecting in a slightly different way and projecting yourself in a different way, you attract money. You become a money magnet. People want to invest with you. They want to be with you because they can see what you're doing. It's like you're it's a three-dimensional curriculum vitae sitting right there. That's why I love it. It becomes your personality as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I know you love it because of the opportunity that I've had to work with you. We were both on different sides of the track at the time, but I'll be honest with you. I've done a lot of transactions over time, and they haven't. And there's always stuff that creates challenges in a transaction. But it's how people deal with it is one thing on how you can get through it.
It's people business at the end, isn't it? It's such a people business.
Yeah, it really is. And I tell you, even though we had challenges, to the compassion that you had in that time as we were working together, it was obvious that it was more than just a dollar amount to you. I mean, I could tell you were heart-centered in that, you know,
That's
the
very
whole thing was important, not just a piece of it. And that means a lot to me. Yeah. So
call it good karma, something, if you like.
Yeah. And we all, you know, as long as we do that, it comes full circle. I believe it. And I know you do. Yeah.
Absolutely. It does. Absolutely. Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about some of the day in, day out challenges, which so many of us face, you know, relationship challenges, financial challenges, market changing, and everything else. I don't know how much you want to share in regards to.
I'm an open book. Open book.
Well, I figured as much since you did a documentary on this. So
now you come to mention it, yes.
Yeah. Now that I have it is on my list to talk about. Yeah. So if you just said no, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, what's another? No. But Michael, you've been faced with cancer, not just once but twice, and that challenge over and above everything else. I mean, every time.
Yeah, the first round was devastating. It was mid 2000s, just really building up to the crash of 2008. At the same time, with divorce and dealing with cancer and the recovery of cancer, and looking basically down the drain as to what's going to happen with my life, my children's lives at that time. You know, my first wife had, you know, decided to go in a different direction. We'd simply ran out of road, and that's the way it goes. And it's still, I won't say the best thing that ever happened to me, because you can't say that in that moment. But looking back, it's been a godsend, because I've got a beautiful new wife. It sounds like a new car, doesn't it? It doesn't work like that.
I understand what you mean.
Thank you.
A lot of other people do.
My bad description.
No, been there, done that.
More stripes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, every now and I get this pain in my neck. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That was devastating, because it just basically kicked the nuts out of me. Mentally, physically, especially physically, and doubled up mentally as well.
Yeah.
And it took quite a long time to recover from that. It's a very dark time. But recover you do, just one day at a time. And a similar thing happened actually about 10 years ago, 2012, yeah. I got diagnosed with cancer in head and neck up here and around here, and also that, which meant an awful lot of radiation. I think I had 49 sessions of radiation at 59 grays, which 100 gray, that's the measurement of radiation. 100 grays would pretty much kill you outright. So they have to kill the radiation. They almost kill you to kill it.
Yeah.
So you're literally half a man when it's done. I lost an awful lot of weight and capacity to live. Couldn't eat for a lot of time. And it took a good couple of years to get back to something that was more like human, and back to work. But thankfully, in that period between 2008 and 2012, I'd made a number of investments, a number of good decisions, especially on multifamily in Texas, Tennessee, and latterly California as well. Mind you, Tennessee is a tough neighborhood, but we'll come back to that another day.
Yeah.
And so this. It was wondering how there was lots of times I wondered, how can I give back? And when I was going through some of the recovery of this, going through the cancer wards, and having tubes hanging out of me left, right, and center, and different surgeries to take away neck muscle and bits and pieces, and I saw some very grey, ashen faces around, and I made this promise to myself that I would go back in there and help some of these people. We know as soon as I started getting better and I started making some money, and some real money, dare I say it, allowed us to live very well in a manner I hadn't done since I pretty much left London. And I didn't really keep up that promise to myself, because I didn't psychologically want to step back into that darkness, into that pain. when I was in it, it was fine. But as soon as I left it, the idea of going back to it, I found so tough. And it wasn't until the last couple of years that I thought I'd make a small film about it instead, and try and find a different route to support what I promised myself, because I wasn't ready at the time, I suppose. And I made a small, a short, what they call a short documentary. I've been doing a martial art since I was about 12 or 13, which is now 50 years ago, dare I say it. Yeah, I know. No, good moisturizer.
Oh man, it's working for you, buddy.
Thank you. I'll keep buying it. It's expensive, but it's good.
Yeah. Well, I've found the same stuff.
Okay, and a little bit of happiness helps as well.
Absolutely, it helps a lot,
and an awful lot of love.
Yes.
And so I just very small budget. I got some talented guys, pretty local to here. I've now moved to Florida for a number of reasons. It was a real estate transaction, a few transactions, and the idea of flipping homes back here a few years ago, I thought the opportunity here was better than anywhere else I could find in the country at that time. And it's also a no state tax environment as well. You know, one of the magic 7 in the country, so that really helped. And coming from San Diego, there was nowhere else that I could find that also had palm trees. That was really important to me coming from London. There wasn't one pension brochure or 401k equivalent back in the day that didn't have blue skies and palm trees on the front cover of the brochure. So I was sold from an early stage that this is where it's going to go. Digression slightly, but
no worries.
Making this short film on a minuscule budget. It's only 9 minutes. And it includes my journey through Aikido as it became something I could believe in, something I could trust. And, you know, I've been practicing that, on and off, more on than off in this 50 years. And it's something I can believe in, and something, like, as I said, I can trust. And so amalgamating that with my, dare I say, my cancer journey and my recovery journey through the physicality and the mentality of recovery and repair, it became a good symbiotic parallel to be able to make a short documentary about. And it seems to have picked up an awful lot of momentum. I put it out there on the International Film Festival circuit, and it's been out there 4 or 5 months now. I mean, it's done so well. It's been in over 30 countries. It's got over 70 official selections, winnings, and nominations, and some 30 or so awards as well. So
that's
including
awesome.
very, very recently, in fact, just last week, at the Cannes Short Film Festival, it won in what they call short documentary category. So, I mean, that is remarkable. So, and any funds that are raised from this, or prize money, whatever you want to call it, in fact, all revenue goes to fuckcancer.org.
Yeah.
And I just want to send them as much as we can get our hands on. So, so that's, if you like, this is now my, I suppose, a bit of a payback, literally, in cash terms, in fund terms, but also a payback in bringing about further awareness of what some of these challenges people have to go through. And it's not really, I didn't really want to fund the cancer research kind of things. That I think there's enough glass palaces around the globe that dine out on those kind of funds. I wanted to get down to the nitty gritty of the people who are helping people help themselves. And I thought that was a far more recognizable way, far more of a parallel to my mindset. And how could I not get behind it?
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the cool things about, and most of the people, there's a lot of real estate people that do well in real estate that are true heart-centered and do give back, and they provide service, whatever it might be. I've got people I work with that do missionary work. I got people that I work with that, in your case, something a little bit closer to home. So that karma or that payback, maybe you couldn't tap into it right away because the pain was there. But the important thing is you've tapped into it now. And with what you're doing now, anybody that was in your shoes back then, who's in them now, this could be the thing that really makes the difference in their life. So you say minuscule budget and all these other things, that none of that is relevant. If your message is heard by one person and it makes a difference in their life in a positive, that's what it's about. And real estate has helped you afford that. So your real estate investments and it's a wonderful.
Don't get me wrong. We live very well now. We have done for a number of years, just because of real estate. Yeah, and some investments over the years that have paid off, and some passive income, which just kind of rolls along, and with, I won't say minimal. Well, I should say minimal input required. Yeah, because I mean, it's. I mean, we got this lovely place, lovely home now, but my office is really here. I can be anywhere. I'm in London, Paris, or wherever.
Well, one of the things smart investors do is realize, first and foremost, they can't do it all themselves, so they get good people around them, and whether it's a team that's running something for you, or even if you take a step back, you said, excuse me, how. Back in London, you felt as people were pulling you back, whereas here in the States, you felt like they either want to go along for the ride with you, or all of that, is it's all relevant. Excuse me.
I think it is because I think it's relevant because being here in the States, there's so much more motivation, there's so much more go get, and it's there to be gotten. There's an awful lot of deals that are coming up all the time. As I read somewhere, the deal of the century comes along about once a week. Well, it doesn't quite.
No, we know that. But they're still out there if you're looking.
They are still out there. Sometimes you have to dig a bit deeper, but it's such a people business. And all I would say to anybody in this situation is start talking, pick up the phone. Don't try and do everything remotely. And because one thing I found with the last 20 years, particularly in the real estate side, so much is built over time on trust. Yeah. On trust.
Absolutely.
So many guys come out the woodwork, say, oh, this guy's the real deal. But, they may well be. But you still need a bit of time under the belt, a bit of water under the bridge, whatever it may be, a bit of wisdom to come through. Yeah. And it takes a bit of a while for them to understand you as well. And I think that's so don't just jump in with the first one that comes along. Take your time. You can repent at leisure. There's no time for that. But on the other hand, don't sit on your backside any longer than you have to. In fact, don't sit on your backside at all. Even if you just get up and join the 5 o'clock club and go to the gym every day or 2 times a week, just action. Get the body moving, which gets the brain moving, which gets the, don't go through, Wendy's and McDonald's every single day. Care about what goes inside yourself. It makes this 6 inches or 7 inches between the ears just work better, more productively, more succinctly, and it brings more heart into what you're thinking and how you want to go forward and where you want to go. And those loved ones around you want to support you doing that. They see you doing that. They're part of your journey and you're part of their journey. You share together. It's a wonderful way to go. And I now feel I've kind of got where I need to be in life. And it's taken this bloody long. Yes. But what? Let's not arrive. Let's keep moving. Keep on the journey.
Yeah. You're at where you wanted to be, whether it was today, yesterday, tomorrow, that, back when you've arrived here and you want to keep that going. And now I know you and I know your nature and everything else. You share that wisdom with others. So maybe they don't have to go to the School of Hard Knocks, get the same degree you and I did. Because
there's other schools of other hard knocks. No one's going to have the same.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's not going to be another 2008 for a little while.
There's always going to be something. There's always something.
There's going to be something.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see a correction coming soon. It's not going to be a 2008 correction, but some of the areas that have been overinflated are going to probably see more of a geographical, reduction.
Geographical inflation is going through the roof.
Yeah. So Yeah, there is some stuff
Interest
coming.
rates are so low, but everyone's still building. That's the difference between now and 2008. There's still production. Building is still going on. In 2000, it stopped. So no, it's not going to be something else. It's going to be something else for sure.
Well, and I know you know the area that I'm in, and it might surprise you that just within a couple of miles here, D.R. Horton just bought up some land, is developing a whole subdivision of tract housing, which to me just blows my mind because of what's going on right now. So it's still happening. It may be interesting, but it's still happening.
Yes, I mean, oil and gas isn't going to go away in Texas for a little while, is it? No matter what administration is going to be in anywhere.
You can't just shut off the faucet. It doesn't work that way.
No, it's going to be some time.
Yeah. So you said a couple of key things here: heart, action, mindset. Those are all real important. Trust. Trust is earned. It's a two-way street, and it takes time. So I mean, those are all things that are important to what we do. Giving back. These are all just super valuable lessons, and I will actually be in your neck of the woods. Crystal and I have a target date of July to make our way out that way. So we've got some things that are coming to a head where we're at, and we got a couple other things we'll do over here. But
we're looking forward to that cocktail with the umbrella in it.
I guarantee you, it's gonna happen.
Whatever your poison is.
Yeah. We'll pass through your neck of the wood, and then we're gonna end up south of you because I got to get back down to that blue warm water all the way down south. But we'll be in the same state. So
exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, that's easy enough. I've got basically one more question that I think this is probably one of the most important questions that I ask everybody, only because you may or may not have thought about this question, and knowing who you are, I can kind of guess where it's going to go. But Michael, let's just say, and hopefully not anytime soon, but let's just say the day does come where Michael is passed on. He's no longer with us.
Oh, it'll come.
But like I said, hopefully not so soon.
Okay.
What does Michael Hancock's legacy look like? What is it that you want to imprint on the world before you leave?
Gosh, that is a big question, isn't it? And zero time to prepare. Thanks a bunch.
Well, that's why we do it.
I guess that.
Well, I want it just to come straight from the heart.
Well, as in the bigger picture, it's just really got to leave this place a little bit better than I found it. And what does that mean? Well, I've got two kids, and I look into their eyes and I see a little bit of me, but an awful lot of them. So I know that my legacy is, deep in there. And, ever since they were little kids running at me, and you pick them up, and there's that excitement in their eyes that's so full of life, and it's just so enchanting for me. And so I've got that. And my wife Laura, who has been on this latter part of the journey with me. Without her, I don't know what would have happened. So it's kind of a one of gratitude, if not quite answering your question, but it's not directly, but it's one of gratitude. And like I said, it's just leaving this place hopefully a little bit better than it was. And I'm not going to be the one to judge that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, just knowing you for the 10 months that I've known you, you've already done that. So not that you can check out tomorrow, but you've already accomplished it.
There's that big red bus coming around the corner from the north, right?
So I know, since that's already been done, there's going to be other great things to follow. So
I mean, and taking where we are now and looking back at some of those major magnified problems and issues to have to go through, some of them look pretty small right now.
Yeah.
As time goes on, but when you're deep in it and you're up to there and you're just breathing, and you know what? Just find a way to climb out a little bit more, because when you look back in time, they weren't quite so magnanimous. They weren't quite so enormous. It's funny as you get older, and I'm a bit older than most guys you probably talk to. Looking back, wasn't so much to worry about after all. Not when you're in it, though. I know that.
There's no doubt about it. When you're in the thick of it, a lot of times it's the last thing you think about.
And again, part of that short that short documentary I made, the main message of that, which has a lot to do with the whole real estate implication as well, is never give in.
Yeah.
Never give in.
Yeah.
Never give in. Just
Yeah.
keep coming out. Keep coming out. Get knocked down 8 times, get up 9.
That's right.
Whatever it is, whatever your mantra is, it doesn't really matter. But and get off your backside. Massive action.
Yeah, and I can pretty much guarantee you, even if you're down and you don't think there's love and support around you, just take a deeper look, because there's always somebody that will provide love and support and help you through that time.
Yeah, but the thing you can't do at that time is ask. That's where extra courage is needed to ask for help. Yeah, and
that sometimes is very difficult to do.
Yeah, it took me a long time to ask for help, and in the end, I did, and should have done it earlier.
Yeah,
idiot.
What are we thinking? Yeah,
idiot.
We'll know better for next time. Not. But the message we can convey to somebody is, hey, it took us a while to figure it out. We're here to help you figure it out quicker.
Yeah. Get your ducks in a row and massive action. Just work towards it, and just do one thing a day that takes you towards that goal, whatever your goal is, whatever your 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goal is. Don't worry about 10-year goals. That'll take care of itself. 5-year goals will take care of itself. Do what you need to do today, and do something today that you can actually write down.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how small it is. And
every little goal or everyone is a stepping stone towards large.
It's a milestone. It's a milestone.
Yep. Yeah, it is. And you have to recognize those as well.
Yeah. And applaud yourself for it as well.
Absolutely.
It's a trophy in its own way.
Yeah. Well, I got to say congratulations for your decades of hard work and persistence. It's definitely paid off. Also in your film, Wolf in His Belly, congratulations on getting to the point where you felt comfortable where you could do it so that you can share that message, but 2, the level of success that it's reached. And more importantly, that level of success just means it's going to be seen by more people. So that is just incredible. I mean, you deserve that level of success and recognition, but anytime something becomes more popular, it's seen by more people. And I know that you put that out there to be seen by as many people as you can to help others through their challenges. So congrats to everything. And it truly has been an honor and pleasure working with you, getting to know you. For our listeners and viewers, because this will actually, we do it in audio and visual. Is there something that you'd like to share with them on how they could reach you or look you up or anything like that?
Well, I have a small website, a website, which it's usually just for private lenders or private money people. But by all means, I'm happy to share it with a relatively close audience. Like yours, and it's equity.properties. That's EQUITI.properties.
Okay. Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll make sure that's in the show notes for anybody that does view it. So
by all means, contact me through there. And if there's anything I can help with on the other side that's not real estate as well, it would be my pleasure if I could, if someone needs a helping hand or a listening ear or something like that. I can probably help in some respects. Who knows? Yeah. Again,
even if it's not pointing them even if it's pointing them in the right direction or just being there for them.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah.
If Michael, I can.
Yeah. Well, just being there sometimes is all they need. Yeah. So,
Indeed.
Michael, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I do truly appreciate you coming on, and look forward to when this is published. And of course, I know you and I have developed a relationship over the last 10, 12 months, and I'm looking forward to the years to come. So, thank you very much. Yeah. So for all of our listeners and viewers for Deal or No Deal, Multifamily Real Estate Investing Podcast, we want to thank you for checking in with us, and make sure to check out the show notes, how to reach Michael. And of course, we would love it if you shared these podcasts with your family and friends. So thank you very much. And until the next one, aloha.